We are pimped by the system. We are pimped by society standards. We are pimped by so many different things. Corporate structure, like there's so many different ways that our autonomy and our sovereignty is stripped away.
Welcome to And Then I Did This. Prepare to be inspired as we celebrate the unique journeys of individuals who've had the courage to break free and live life on their own terms. Their lives prove that you truly can be free to live your best and most authentic life. Let's get to it. Today, I have a special guest, Quintina Sonnie. She's an inspiration, a testament to the strength of the human spirit. She's a somatic alchemist, the founder of Somatic Alchemy, a trafficking survivor, and so much more. Quintina, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Lure. I'm so happy to be here.
This is so great. Share your story and how you have gotten where you are right now doing this amazing work that you're doing.
Yeah. Well, let me first share what I'm even doing, because then I think when I go back to my story, it'll all kind of like circle back. So as a somatic alchemist, my mission is to guide 300,000 women back to the wisdom of their body. And I do this by allowing them or giving them the ways to choose joy and find fulfillment through their deepest desires. And this is such an important part because we often have so many programs and the system has its fingers in us and all these different things where we oftentimes are like, okay, here's all my accolades, here's all my achievements. I can do all of these amazing things, but I'm doing all of these things for other people. Maybe it's corporations, maybe it's your family, maybe it's a career, whatever it could be. And so my guidance is built for the ambitious and high achieving woman to use her body instead of her mind. So many people focus on their mindset. And so where I've moved to is out of the mind and into the body. And so that's what I guide women towards, is the wisdom within. And so how I even got here was I have suffered from a lot of different things in the past, victim, if you will. I don't like to use that word anymore, but I think it resonates, right? Where I had a really tumultuous childhood, sexual abuse, moving from home to home, lots and lots of tumultuous experiences that led me to eventually being trafficked at 19. And really that experience came out of a whole myriad of vulnerabilities. I was accused by somebody who I called a friend of some very heinous crimes. Like I was looking at like multiple like felony charges. So there's like the levels to it. There were 2 felony ones, which are the highest felonies. And then there was 1 felony 3rd degree. So I'm looking at these charges and they sent me to jail. And I sit in there for 6 weeks. Okay. And I love to tell this story because this kind of shows you where my mindset is and how I really am like, fuck the system, because there's a lot of things that people will kind of bend over for, and they'll just take. And I was not one of those girls, even with everything that I had been through. So in that 6 weeks, they had offered me multiple different, like, deferred probation. We'll drop it to a 3rd degree instead of a 1st degree, whatever, all these different things. And every time they would come to me, I really just told them, like, I'm not taking that. You can take me to trial. And they didn't want to do that because they knew they didn't have any evidence to support it. But the system just loves to keep people in jail because they get paid for that. So for 43 days, I sat in there and waited to either go to trial or be released. And they did end up releasing me on a personal recognizance bond. And for people who don't know what that is, normally when you have a bond, there's some sort of money, right? And originally my bond was 50 grand. So if you get a bail's bondsman, you can only have to pay about 10%. So that would have been like 5 grand, right? Well, no one was paying 5 grand for me. So with that 43 days, basically what they said was, well, you're not a flight risk and you aren't going to take any of our stuff. So we're going to let you out on your own recognizance, trusting that you're going to come back to court. No money, no nothing, just on your own recognizance. And we trust that you're going to come back to court for this.
Wow.
I'm like, you made me sit here for 43 days to let me out on a personal recognizance. You're crazy. You're tripping.
Wow.
But the resilience that it takes to sit in your own captivity and to sit in confinement.
Right.
And that happened before I was trafficked, because then when I got out of jail, I had lost my job. I had lost my housing. I literally 6 weeks, you lose everything. So I was actually picked up by a pimp. And so in that whole ordeal after that, losing everything, again, being in this vulnerable position, those skills really assisted me in my trafficking experience, because when you have money being the thing that you're like trading your physical vessel for, it really messes you up. And it really causes you to stop thinking of yourself as human, and it makes you kind of feel like an animal sometimes. And I felt very similar to that in jail, because they strip all your rights away. You're watched 24/7. It's a whole thing. And I wouldn't even wish jail on my worst enemy. So I bring all of that up because with the skills that I learned, not only in jail, but also in my trafficking experience, those are the same things that I know that so many women are carrying. And you don't even have to have been trafficked or gone to jail to know what I'm talking about. We are pimped by the system. We are pimped by society standards. We are pimped by so many different things. Corporate structure, like there's so many different ways that our autonomy and our sovereignty is stripped away. So even if you're not a trafficking survivor, you can still relate to the work that I do.
Right.
Yeah. So that's how I got to this place now of working with women and going outside of the mind, because your mind works perfectly. There's nothing wrong with your mindset. Your mindset is actually programmed by your body, which is the physical vessel that experiences this reality. So once you get past the mindset stuff and you drop into healing what's in here, that's when real transformation happens.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I think because I've been out of the system in the traditional sense for over 10 years now, that some of the vernacular, the way we talk to people, the words we even use, I almost call it legalized wage slavery. And you think of it as human resources. You'll talk about, capital. What are we doing with, gold as a resource, silver as a resource? Humans are human beings, not human resources to be used or mined. Their energy mined, yeah. So until you get out and even step back to look at just even performance reviews. I kept my final performance review. I always think of it as like, I'm not at a concert or I'm not a circus animal. I'm a human being. And then when you go through the ratings and rankings, did you exceed my expectations? Did you meet my expectations, or are you below my expectations? I mean, when you put it into human context, it is so inhumane how the whole structure of the system is set up. Many are waking up. I hadn't been on Instagram for a while and went on there recently, and I was amazed at how many people are just done and, done with the system. I'll say the way it's currently structured, which is why I'm encouraging people, break free, be free, do your own thing, figure out how you can, which is why at this point in your life, I'm just thrilled to see you doing what you're doing, because women are so confined in, I'll say a man's world. Typically, I lived Mad Men in the ad industry, and, you get ahead by I didn't let anyone know I had children when I was early in my career. I even have a photo of me with a small skinny tie when skinny ties were in, with a suit, hair cut short, all these games that are they're head games. We conform to fit in rather than be ourselves. So I'm curious more about your work when you say connecting into the body more than the head and the mind. Just talk a little more about that.
Yes, it's so interesting because the very beginning of my work, when I started to realize that I had gifts, because I'm also an intuitive psychic. So when I'm seeing things and I'm reading people's energy, I was like, okay, I know that I'm not reading minds. Like, that's the
Right.
funny part, is like everybody says psychic. Oh, like she's reading minds. Like, I'm not actually reading your mind. I'm reading your body.
Mm.
And when I recognized that like mindset work was not going to do it for me, it was actually when I was going to therapy, of course, for everything that I had experienced.
Right.
And my therapist was like, okay, well, you're really like self-aware, like you got this, like little finger guns, and like you're good to go. And I'm sitting here like, I'm still miserable. I'm still broke. I'm still like crying all the time. I'm still like reacting in the same ways that I
Right.
like, just because I know what I've
Right.
experienced and I can like cognitively understand it, doesn't mean that I know how to move forward with it. Doesn't mean I know how to fix it. Right. So
Exactly.
no matter how much you work on your mind, is a programmed
Right.
aspect of the living vessel that you are experiencing this life through. With somatic alchemy, and alchemy being very intentionally used here, because
Mhm.
alchemy is taking matter from one state to another, like literally
Mhm.
transforming it. Like we think lead to gold, but really just, I think of it like taking the lead, the poison, the heaviness
Right.
of your life, and literally guiding you through a transformation to the gold that is already within you. The wisdom that you have and your inner knowing of what you truly desire is already in there, but you
Right.
can't access it because your mind has been programmed, and your body is the programmer of this mind
Right.
also, and they're fighting with each other all the time.
Right.
So unless you're moving from a body standpoint, unless you know how to go to the subconscious, which is literally
Right.
means below the mind, the thing
Right.
below the mind is the body.
Right.
And with my different guidance, and I call it guidance as well, because I am not a guru. I'm not your teacher. I'm not healing you. I'm not a healer.
Right.
I
Right.
am somebody who has moved herself through the same process that
Mhm.
I take other women through,
Mhm.
because I know that that is, with my spiritual teachings and also with my own lived
Right.
experience, actually moves me from that place of victimhood and of just like
Right.
going through the motions of society's achievements and accolades, to actually having the beautiful life that I get to have. And the beautiful
Mhm.
part that I love so much, I have a signature method called the Flora Method, and I am a
Mm.
priestess of the lotus and a rose devotee. So those paths are very important to me, very like floral paths. And so when you think of like the path of growth of a lotus, growing in the mud, goes through the murky water to emerge for the beauty for
Right.
everyone to see,
Mhm.
right? So that's the path that I follow. It's a priestess path. But the Flora Method is a 5-phase method that guides you from figuring out what you even want, because you have been
Mhm.
told for your whole life what you want.
Mhm.
And there's ads, there's your parents, there's society, there's all these different things that have told you what you want.
Right. Right.
And so the deepest desires aspect of this is figuring out what do you actually want, and not feeling bad for wanting it,
Right.
because so many of us feel bad for wanting it, you know?
Mhm.
And so that's where we start. And through the process, we end at ascension. And what I
Mm.
love about the ascension aspect, it's my favorite part of the whole
Mhm.
method, the whole phase, is when you ascend, that level that you're starting at
Mhm.
now, all you have to do if you want to ascend again, is go right back to finding your yes. You literally, it's cyclical. So you start at finding it, you get to the ascended part where you figured it out, and then you want more, because the work that I do, we as women, we deserve more and we should have more. So then we just start at find your yes again. And then you can go through this process. I give you the tools to go through this process as many times as you need to. And what was so beautiful was I came up with this because I realized that this was what I was doing, is I was guiding myself through this process. And then of course, you know, you kind of break it down when you think back and you're like, oh my gosh, I could literally guide other people and give them a framework, give them something that has a structure to actually do on their own. I'll guide you through it the first time. I'm not here to be your 20-year therapist, right? I'm here to guide you through it once. Once we get to the 5th phase, baby girl, it's all you. Like you can go on from that, knowing and having the tools that you need to continue to do the method over and over again.
Yeah, because you're so right. I mean, there's so many levels to once we come into adulthood, the body keeps the score. Just
so good.
That alone, you know, and it's making me think of breath work when you're talking also, because, you know, I had done all of these things at the point that I was dealing with some things and, you know, didn't feel like, you know, this whole corporate thing is where I want to be, and then had a failed marriage. And I'm like, you know, went through some therapy, and then still there were things. And so became a life coach, and then still there were things. And then breath work was like, oh my gosh, like what was that? That whole experience, because our body carries the emotions of whatever experiences we've had. And unless we're able to, as you say, like get out of our head and into the body to connect with where are we off, where are we out of balance, where are we holding things tight because we're afraid subconsciously to let go of that. We don't know how without a way, a process or some guidance to let go of things that are really preventing us from being fully free and happy.
So true. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And when we don't allow ourselves to really get to the root of our real desires, it's just going to be the same hamster wheel over and over again. And when I think about like who would benefit even from work like this, I think like for you and I, we are like, you know, oh, we have our own businesses, like that's the path of success. But it's not even just that, you know, I'm here for business owners. It's like, I'm here for all the phases. I've been through a lot of different things. You were talking about failed marriages. I'm talking like I had literally had a pimp that I thought was my boyfriend. So I can navigate through the like relationships, family dynamics, at a very complicated family dynamic. So not only do I have those things, but the benefit of finding your yes and actually being able to say what I call yes to everything. And that seems really extreme to people because they're like, what do you mean yes to everything? Doesn't that mean you don't have any boundaries? Actually, yes is a boundary the same as no. And when I say yes to everything, I am saying yes even to somebody else's no. If someone tells me no, I'm saying yes to that no. If the universe is redirecting me, I'm saying yes to that redirection. Thank you, because rejection is redirection. So every time I get a no, I get to say yes to that.
Yeah.
And that mindset, which comes from reprogramming how my body is experiencing the world and experiencing what I'm going through, is what leads you to be able to say yes to those things. So even if a business is not like the end all be all to what you want, it's like, what are those desires and those big dreams that you have that you are putting on the back burner for like what is expected of you or what is reasonable? Because what I'm so tired of is I'm so tired of hearing women being like, that's not reasonable. We're literally, whether you believe in a flat earth or a round earth, doesn't really matter. We are in the middle of a bajillion stars. It is 1 in 400 trillion chance that
Right.
you got to be you. And you're telling me we're going to look at what's reasonable? No. Okay? Absolutely not. There is so much more that we can
Exactly.
have. And there's so much more we deserve it. Like these desires, this incredible energy that we can
Right.
use to give us more joy and pleasure and fulfillment is our birthright. This
Right.
is not something that we have to earn. This isn't
Right.
something that we check off boxes and accolades and achievements and awards. That's not what this
No.
is. This is something that you automatically, because you exist, deserve. But
Right.
because of the programming that you have been put under by all of the different experiences that you've had, you can't access those deep desires because they feel too big. You're like, especially for successful women, we're like, oh, I already have so much. Like to ask for more is like crazy. Like I'm going to look like a conceited biatch. Like,
Right.
but the moment that you remove, because those are all words from everyone
Stories.
else, those are all
Hmm.
stories. If someone is thinking that about you, good.
Right.
I
Right.
hope they do. I hope that you think I'm a conceited bitch. I really do because that means that I'm working in my own desire and I'm working from my own dreams and I am saying yes to what makes me feel alive and joyful and
Right.
fulfilled, not what you think is possible.
I saw a young, successful woman who has a really successful podcast and she talks, and shares about it online. And I could tell in the tone that she was feeling a little bit, I don't want to say like a little bit thrown sideways from comments. And I was just like, haters are going to hate. People who have things to say about others and what they're doing or having an opinion, like everyone has a belly button, like it's a reflection, it's a mirror back to what's going on within them, has like an iota, a thimbleful of anything to do with that person they're commenting on, everything to do with them not feeling adequate, them not feeling like they should be doing more, and they're judging their own life against someone else's highlight reel that may or may not even be real, but allowing yourself to, hey, maybe you want to travel and go do a safari in Africa. Maybe you don't want to stay in your corporate job and you want to do some other wild thing. Maybe you want to do something different with a relationship and you're feeling like, no, I can't. That's unreasonable to think that XYZ, just as you said, like that's a story and we have to break the stories apart. And we don't even have to know where they came from, but just let that go because that's not who we are. It's who
Yes.
we're trying to tell ourselves because someone else said that before we even had maybe a discernment to be able to decipher where did that come from.
Exactly. And that's what I love about body based work over mindset work. Because when you're in mindset land, all you're doing is going back in the past and trying to figure out where it came from. Who cares? Who cares? I don't care where it came from. It literally doesn't matter. What matters is what's present because the body is in the now. What's
Yes.
present now? What's in my
Right.
body right now? What's alive for me right now? That
Exactly.
is what I'm going to heal from. That is what I'm going
Right.
to dismantle and decipher. Not, oh, I'm feeling this way because XYZ and who we don't care. We want to know I am feeling this right now. And so many of us are disconnected from this vessel because
Exactly.
we are so in
In our,
like past or future
yes.
that we're looking ahead or we're looking behind. What
Right.
about looking at where your feet are planted right now? What about this now
Exactly.
moment,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's a skill, right? Like being able to come back to your body and be present in that moment is a skill that you can learn. And
Yes.
that is what I guide women to. That's the tools that I give them is being able to stop looking forward into the future because that's just giving you anxiety. Stop looking at the past because that's giving you depression and
Right.
looking at what's alive for you right
Right.
now. What are you feeling right now? Getting connected with that and being like, what do I want to feel? What is my desired result? from
Right.
this present moment that I'm in right now. And then we can make conscious decisions from
Yeah.
that place instead
Yeah.
of looking back at a situation that isn't happening right now, or
Right.
looking at a situation that we don't know is going to happen. We can come back to right now and we can figure out what we're going to do, the aligned action that we're going to take
Right.
from our body's present experience,
Right.
not our mind's programmed jibber jabber that literally
Right.
makes no sense half the time.
Yeah. Because the reality is, the more we're thinking about and re anchoring those past things that have happened, we're hardwiring in the neurosynapses of our brain to re-bring and conjure up that past thing that already happened. So being able to free yourself and let go of that, and like getting wrapped up too far in the future. I always say like windshields are larger and rearview mirrors are smaller. So we don't spend the time looking backwards, and staying in the moment is why, that I love that phrase of it's the present moment. It's a gift. It's what we get right now. All there ever is. If you read Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now, all
So
there
good.
ever is right now. The future
Yeah.
hasn't happened. The past is already over. So what are we going to do in the moment? And I just envisioned, when you were talking about going into the body, like becoming aware of those blockages and areas within the body that are bothering us or holding us back, or that we can't even connect with because of something that's happened, and being able to become aware of that so you can move beyond that to experience life fully, and not with one, arm guarded because, something happened, so I can't really raise that shoulder all the way up. Whatever it is.
Exactly. Exactly. Because those blockages are in your body. Your mind, I will literally go back to this all the time because your mind is working just fine. You do
Yeah.
not have a mind problem. There's nothing
Right.
wrong with your mind. It's working perfectly. It's working as it's been programmed to work.
Right.
And that's why we can't keep going up here. We
Right.
have to go into here because this is where the programs are coming from. In the
Right.
body is where the programs start, and they will then make your mind think away, and then you'll behave based on what your mind is saying,
Right.
based
Right.
on the programs of the mind. So if we can deconstruct going subconscious below the mind, and we can deconstruct the programming that's in here,
Yep.
we will
Mhm.
automatically change our mindset. We won't even have to work on the mindset. We're working on the body, which then
Right.
will change the mindset automatically. And then you'll do different
Right.
behaviors because you're no longer going off of the same programming, and your mindset will
Right.
already change, but it'll work with the programs of the body. And that's really what I'm here to guide women to, is back to that wisdom, because we all
Mhm.
have it within us, and we all have that innate knowledge. We have the primal aspects, we have the ancestral magic that has come through our line, and we can use that. But unless we bypass what this
Mhm.
thing has programmed us to do,
Right.
we're never going to be able to access it.
Right. So, what advice would you have for people who are sitting in a situation where they're not necessarily happy, and they know there's more? What advice would you have for them to take that first step?
Look at what it is that you keep pushing away. Maybe spirit, God, creator, whatever has been putting something on your heart, and you keep pushing it away or saying, no, not right now. Instead of putting it on the back burner, start taking a look at it. There is
Mhm.
something there for you.
Yeah.
And it may not be exactly what you think it is, but you need to at least look at it. Because without
Right.
looking at it, you're just going to run off the same programs that you've been running off of. You're going to do the
Right.
same things over and over again. Especially
Mhm.
as high achieving women, we're like, oh, I'm going to, because we've literally achieved so many incredible things, breaking glass ceilings and doing all this incredible stuff, right? We're like, oh, well, I'm just going to go ahead and keep doing what I've been doing because look at
Right.
all the magical things that I've done, right?
Mhm.
But
Right.
those are things that you're not doing for you. Those aren't your
Right.
dreams. Those aren't your desires. And
Right.
so look at what you've been placing on the back burner
Mhm.
and bring it to the forefront and
Mhm.
see how you can start moving towards that.
Mm. And then what are some things that you do to keep yourself grounded and kind of motivated and going and passionate as you are about what you're doing? What are the things that keep you alive the way you are?
The biggest thing is my breath. You were talking about breath work. I am a trauma resolution specialist, but that is through breath work.
Mhm.
But I also use human design and tarot in
Mm.
my practice. But the breath is the single bodily function that not only do we have just happening, it's a completely
Mhm.
unconscious bodily function, but we can also control. It
Right.
is the only bodily function that we have this absolutely magical gift of. And
Mhm.
so, using your breath and knowing how to use it and the different patterns and the different ways
Right.
to guide yourself and be guided
Mhm.
is how I keep sane.
Mhm.
Because if I can consistently create a bridge between what's happening in my conscious logical mind and what's
Right.
hanging out in the subconscious below the
Right.
mind, and
Right.
create that bridge, that's what the breath is. The breath is a bridge.
Mhm.
And once you realize how to use that and the different ways that you can go deeper, like I've
Right.
even done entity releases on people where people have
Mhm.
had
Wow.
energies attached to them and we're able to dislodge that entity through using the breath. It's
Wow.
absolutely amazing. So, breath work, hands down, and then knowing your human design. And for me, I use tarot as a way to dig in around in the subconscious of
Mhm.
others. But knowing your human design has been life changing for me and for
Mhm.
my clients too. So
Yeah. So
definitely those.
good. I know the word breath means spirit, which is like literally breathing in and out, our spiritual self, which is, I totally agree with you on that. There's nothing more magical or nothing more like it. How can people get in touch with you? We're going to put the links in the show notes below, but what are the ways that you're out there online and available for people to reach out to?
Yes. Oh my goodness. I literally have been loving TikTok. So that is quintina.somatic.alchemy. And then LinkedIn is just my name. And Instagram is quintina.somatic.alchemist. And of course, obviously, you said show notes. So those are in
Yep.
there. So I'm on those three platforms. And I also have two amazing ways to get into my world. If you're like, wow, she's a lot, I kind of want to like see a little bit more, get a little bit more of a
Mhm.
taste of like the type of work she's talking about, I actually have two ways to do so. You can get into my Somatic Alchemist channelings. It's a
Mhm.
audio space for ambitious women who are ready to
Mhm.
tap into that joy and fulfillment through their deepest desires. And I do audio messages, channeled messages in there
Mhm.
specifically on how to use somatic practices to reach joy and fulfillment. So
Mhm.
you can get into there. And then I also wrote a letter to the ambitious woman who is like, I just need a little bit of inspiration. I need somebody who can see me so deeply in the stuff
Mm.
that I have been dealing with. And that letter is so beautiful. I read it to you. So I read that letter and it's absolutely amazing. People really love just having that. And then every once in a while, they'll like pop it back open and be like, oh my gosh, Tina, like I really needed to hear what you had to say again. So those are the two ways. I also, of course, do guidance. I have guidance packages and I also do one off sessions where if you're like, I have a singular thing that I'm moving through and I need somebody to guide me and witness me through that, I do
Mhm.
those as well. Those are somatic alchemy
So
sessions.
good. So good. So good. Yeah. So good.
Thank
So,
you.
final thoughts for people as we wrap up our time. What would be
Yes.
some final thoughts you'd like to leave with the women out there holding it all together who are maybe just having a hard time holding it all together?
Yes. I see you so deeply. I have been there. I spent a decade as a hairstylist. I spent a decade as an anti trafficking expert and lived experience and survivor leader. And I know what it's like to get to the certain point and you're like, I hate this, or I'm so burnt out, or I've done all this, achieved all this, done so much. And for literally what? I'm still miserable. I'm still unhappy. I'm still just kind of going through the motions. Keep holding on to that internal flame of desire. Us as women, we have been told, oh, desire is evil and oh, desire is so bad. Desire is the flame that keeps your pure feminine passion and your pleasure alive. Don't let that flame go out.
So beautiful. So beautiful. Thank you so much for coming on the show and for sharing all your wisdom. And I can't wait, yes, for others to get to experience your magic and your gifts. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Lou Ray. This was amazing. I'm so, so excited and just grateful to be amongst other incredible people on your podcast that have such incredible stories. So thank you for offering us a platform to share.
Absolutely. And that's a wrap on another episode of And Then I Did This, celebrating the lives of those who've walked away from the beaten path to pursue work and a life that nourishes their soul. If you're feeling inspired and ready to explore your own path to freedom, check out youcanbefree.life, where you'll find resources and support to help you break free and live life on your own terms. See you next time.